So this is a good question because a lot of people don't quite understand this, right? So this person asked me, maybe I missed the memo and I don't pretend to know about the markets, but how does OPEC increasing production crash our market? Genuinely confused and curious how this works. And this is a little bit complicated because oil markets and natural gas markets are much different. So to understand why, if something happens in another country, it impacts our oil prices. First, you have to understand disparity in markets. How easy or how difficult is it to get a commodity to any place in the world, right? Most of the countries around the world have access to most of the country's oil around the world. What that means is any country can pretty much sell their oil to any other country. It's super easy to get it there, to transport it there, to offload it, and for them to use it. The free flow of oil around the globe in markets vastly shrinks the disparity between markets. And that means that even though we have a U.S. market, West Texas Intermediate, it is so easy for us to sell our oil anywhere, and it's also so easy for those countries to sell their oil to us that it creates a scenario where it's like all the oil's in the same place because it can be sold anywhere and it can go anywhere. And that brings and reduces the disparity in the prices. That's not the case with natural gas. Not any country can receive liquefied natural gas from another country. They don't have the facilities. They don't have the capacity. There's not near as many ways and vessels to transport natural gas as there is with oil. So any country on the planet can basically easily be supplied with however much oil they need, and it's no problem. With natural gas, there's many countries around the world that can't even receive liquefied natural gas because you have to have terminals, you have to have infrastructure built that can actually process it. So other countries around the world can have shortages or surpluses of natural gas. And what that does is that creates disparity in pricing. So in Germany, natural gas can be twice as high as it is in the United States because it may be much more difficult to get that natural gas to Germany, and that causes Germany to have shortages, whereas other countries have surpluses. So right now in the United States, natural gas is about half the price as it is in Europe. And that's because it's much more difficult to get gas to Europe. But oil prices in the US and Europe, almost the same, because it's super easy to get the oil there. And one of the reasons I've been warning people about our natural gas exports and our ability to export natural gas, and the reason I've been warning people is because as that grows, it is going to shrink the disparity between US natural gas markets and foreign natural gas markets. The sole purpose for raising the export ban of U.S. West Texas Intermediate oil in 2016 was to increase the value of it by making it available to the world. If you do that with natural gas in the United States, the exact same thing is going to happen. You're going to increase the price of natural gas. And that generates a ton of our electricity. And that's why we are seeing utility bills skyrocket across the United States. And the further and further we go along and do this, the worse and worse it's going to get. So when you have complete globalization of commodities such as oil, anything that happens anywhere affects prices everywhere. Whereas if in Germany, they have issues getting natural gas, it doesn't affect us in the United States that much because we have all the natural gas we need, sort of. At the moment, that's changing. So OPEC increasing production and lowering our prices is sort of the same effect as if war breaks out in some other country and increases our prices. Anything that happens anywhere with oil affects our prices. Thanks.